So hello everyone, I'm V. I'm a coach and a trainer in hypnosis and Hanabi, and I'm here with Walt Power. I'm so happy to have you here. And when I meet you, and I actually before when I heard about you and you're such a successful man to run this empire, and you were training in jiu-jitsu and other martial art as well. And can you share a little bit like how martial art play a big role in your life as a businessman?
Yeah, it's essential. I always say that I don't train jujitsu because I want to. I train it because I need to. Competing in jujitsu and sparring, it allows you to make decisions and be comfortable in uncomfortable positions. And in a lot of ways, that's what life is all about. It's you don't always have perfect information, you don't always have perfect resources, but you still have to come up with the best decision that you can.
Yes.
And I think that's jiu-jitsu is a good proxy for that process. Also for I would say for stress relief, I can physically and psychologically feel the benefits when I train jiu-jitsu, and as we discussed earlier, I can feel when I'm not training that I feel irritated, not as comfortable as I would when I'm training, let's say 3 or 4 times a week on the mat. That's very critical in my own personal life.
Thank you so much. For example, me, I teach people how to meditate to overcome their anxiety, their stress. A lot of business owners come to see me after they burned out. But here, the first time when I come to see a lot of people who practice martial art, I see that they're so energized, and a lot of business owners they practice martial art as well. I think martial art in a way is very similar to meditation. How do you think?
Yeah, well, for sure. I mean, there's on a number of levels. I honestly think that there's both a psychological and physiological benefit for martial arts or any athletic activity, for that point, and whether it's endorphins or any other psychological related hormone. I think it's certainly connected with that with the hard emphasis, and I think. I think as human beings, if you go back 100,000 years, when we were trying to survive, the fight or flight response was certainly even more important, more prevalent then than now. But our DNA is still the same as it was 100,000 years ago. So being able to confront your anxieties,
Yes.
that relieves a lot of stress, because that's the way we're built. We're built to face anxiety because that's the only way you're going to survive. So it's a proxy in a way, or a very close proxy to what was happening to our ancestors 100,000 years ago.
Okay. So in a way, I understand that instead of just avoiding anxiety, but we like head in and we face challenges that would help us to overcome anxiety in a better way.
I would say, don't avoid anxiety, embrace it.
Wow.
Embrace it. That's and as I mentioned earlier in an interview, that people, you can't see anxiety, but you can certainly feel it.
Yes.
And so, because people can't physically see anxiety, they don't think about it. And the way to get rid of anxiety is to face it physically, or as you mentioned, as far as meditation, things of that nature is another way to deal with it. But one of the best benefits for me for jiu-jitsu is being able to face anxiety, to come across an opponent who wants to beat you as well as much as you want to beat him, and you both clash, and when you're done clashing, you're the best of friends and walk away. I've never seen a jiu-jitsu student or competitor complain after they walk out of the academy, because they get that benefit, which is again is psychological, it's physiological, and it's physical.
Yeah. Thank you so much. One last question. For me, my background is more like spiritual practice and meditation and so on. And sometimes that's my limiting belief, I think, that like martial art is something a little bit violent, but I don't see it in the eyes of like you or like other people. So can you help me to understand like Jiu-Jitsu in a better way?
Yeah, well, I would say one of the benefits, there's many from jiu-jitsu or any martial art, is the confidence that gives you. And it's been my experience, number one, that the more you're willing to defend, the more you're able to defend yourself, the less likely you're going to have to use it, because you're going to diffuse that situation. You're going to walk away. If someone walks up to me and challenges me, I would say, okay, whatever, have a good day and walk away. Irregardless of how much training that they have or they don't have. And I think number one. Number two is I think martial arts is self-selecting, because the most difficult part of martial arts is showing up on the first day, because you don't know what to expect. You're worried about getting beat up or losing or being embarrassed, maybe being embarrassed more than physically losing. And so showing up for that second class, maybe that's the most difficult part. Maybe showing up the first class is the second most important thing. And then I think martial arts is self-selecting, because unless you're willing to accept to get beat and to show up for class the next day and try to get better, you're not going to be an accomplished martial artist. So the bully personality that can't accept losing, they're not going to come on the second day, third day, or the 2000th day. So again, it's very, I think in a lot of ways it's self-selecting.
Thank you so much. It helped me to understand that martial art actually helping a lot of people to be humble, to be resilient, to train so many qualities that before I didn't see, or I'm not close enough to observe people. Yeah.
Again, just to emphasize, the more you know how to defend yourself, the less likely you're going to have to defend yourself. Because I think people or human beings can sense confidence. And bullies are able to self-select people who are not confident. Yeah. And so a bully's going to try to find someone who's not confident. If you're confident, they're gonna walk away. And I think that's part of the reason why it's not just being able to defend yourself, but the confidence that you give that you can, and that eliminates a lot of problems.
Thank you. Can you give like a few last few words to say to maybe entrepreneurs or another business owner, maybe young people who start up, and to help them to overcome the challenge, especially in this economy quite challenging right now?
Yeah, I would say this, that, and again, this is a martial arts analogy, that if I'm beat by an opponent, I don't see that person beating me. What I say to myself is that I did not react to his attack fast enough. Wow. Or I wasn't familiar with the defense that he put up in front of me. It was nothing against the opponent. He was just like the conduit of that difference of what I knew and what I should know. Yeah. And so I would say this, that we only get better when we lose or when we're defeated. Because if you win and you want to continue to win, why would you change anything?
Yes.
You're going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
But if you lose or defeated, then you have to analyze how you can be different the next time. And that's the same thing in business.
And you're going to grow, right?
For sure. There's a famous American quote by, I believe it was American President Harry Truman. His philosophy was, try something. If it doesn't work, try something else. And so I think that'd be advice that I would give anyone, that the defeat is an opportunity to excel.
Thank you so much. That's gold. Okay. Thank you.